sorry。係咯，冇理由。
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the opening ceremony of HSBC Broad University. I'm Yancy Chu, and beside me is C1. He will be your MCs for today.
各位來賓大家好，歡迎大家一落滙豐防騙學府嘅開學禮，我係 C1。
So we have everyone here. So now can I please invite the following guests for the ribbon cutting ceremony? Ms. Yuan Lim, Chief Executive Officer, Hong Kong HSBC.
有請滙豐香港區行政總裁林慧虹女士。
Mr. Arthur Yu, Deputy Chief Executive, Hong Kong Monetary Authority.
有請香港金融管理局副總裁阮國恒先生 JP。
Mr. Raymond Su, Commissioner of Police.
有請警務處處長蕭澤頤先生。
Ms. Magdalene, Head of Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong HSBC.
有請滙豐香港區財政管理及個人銀行業務主管李慧虹女士。
Ms. Carol Lee, Chief Compliance Officer, Hong Kong Macau, Head of Regulatory Compliance, Wealth and Personal Banking, Asia Pacific HSBC.
有請滙豐香港特區營區首席合規官及財富管理及個人銀行業務部亞太區合規部主管李慧文女士。
Mr. Brian Hui, Head of Customer Propositions and Marketing, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong HSBC.
有請滙豐香港區財富管理及個人銀行業務部及市場策劃主管許長虹先生。
Dr. Adam Newman, Chairman of Last Fund.
有請南澳區財富管理政司行博士。
Mr. Shalini Gandhi, Head of Fraud, Credit and Control, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong HSBC.
有請滙豐香港區財富及個人銀行業務反欺詐、信貸及監控主管 Mr. Sawin。
Ms. Christina Ong, Head of Business Banking, Commercial Banking, Hong Kong HSBC.
有請滙豐香港工商金融中小企業主管黃海珍女士。
Mr. Chuck Shum, Managing Director, Head of Marketing, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong HSBC.
有請滙豐香港區財政管理及個人銀行業務市場策劃主管岑卓耀先生。
Last but not least, Ms. Winnie Wong, Head of Fraud, WPB, Hong Kong HSBC.
之後有請滙豐香港區財政管理及個人銀行業務反欺詐主管黃詠詩女士。
Now, before cutting the ribbon, we would like all our guests to hold on to the scissors and pause for a group photo.
好啦，喺剪彩之前咧，我哋一齊將骨架剪喺擺喺黃絲帶上面，我哋一齊影張大合照先嚇。咁各位來賓都有骨架剪啦，我哋就擺好個 pose，準備將大合照放住我哋嘅大會攝影嚇。
Okay, let's look at our official photographer first. He is the one in the middle. Please look at
望住中間嘅大會攝影。
our photographer is in the middle. And then we will all look to your left.
好，講左邊嘅全部朋友，
And then to the right.
跟住講右邊嘅全部朋友。
想請問下全部朋友使唔使補相 ？Last one for official photographer.
好，望多次中間嘅大會攝影下。
Okay, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, congratulations! On the official opening of HSBC Broad University.
恭喜滙豐防騙學府正式開學。
So at this moment, I would like to invite all our guests to hold on to our ribbon to take one more photo.
好，攞住你嘅名絲帶同埋金教卷，我哋影多一張相嚇。再一次望住中間嘅大會攝影，麻煩各位。
And then to your right.
跟住到右邊嘅全部朋友。
Everybody got your pictures? Thank you so much. So now we would like to invite press and guests to enjoy the rest of the event at the town hall. Please follow sequence instructions. VIPs, please come with me right here.
好啦，各位傳媒朋友同來賓啊，可以跟住我一齊入去參開咧，我哋繼續今日嘅活動。唔該曬各位。 好
歡迎入讀滙豐防騙學府，祝各位同學滿分畢業，成為防騙專才，識穿呃，唔會俾人呃。歡迎入讀滙豐防騙學府，祝各位同學滿分畢業，成為防騙專才，識穿呃，唔會俾人呃。
Hello, professors and students of HSBC Fraud University. I'm Yancy Chu, and this is Sequan beside me, and we will be your MCs for today. Through community engagement and public education, HSBC is raising awareness and empowering individuals to safeguard themselves against financial fraud. In 2023, our first fraud prevention exhibition, ARC Fair, in Hong Kong has received tremendous positive responses from various sectors.
好好聽啊 ，Yancy 你啲英文，好彩我啲中文都唔錯。大家好，我係思君，身邊呢位係 Yancy， 我哋係大家今日嘅主持人嚇。2023年呢，滙豐舉辦咗全香港首個防騙藝術展 ARC Fair， 得到社會大眾嘅支持咧，係有好大嘅迴響啊！今年滙豐再接再厲，舉辦大型防騙教育展覽，滙豐防騙學府 ARC 大。我就準備好入學啦，我想入嚟咧係做校工嘅。Yancy 你係做緊咩咧？
你做校工啱啊！你今日嘅打扮咪校工。
係冇錯。
我做助教啦，我嚟到呢度2屆。
其實你似係做清潔姐姐。
咁我哋一齊同一個 department 啦，好嘛？So this year, HSBC is proud to launch another large-scale anti-fraud education campaign, HSBC Fraud University, by using an immersive campus experience to enhance the fraud awareness of individuals.
好，我哋而家一齊嚟睇下滙豐防騙學府嘅宣傳片，率先了解一下呃大。
學海無涯，學識防騙知識，人人都可以改變呃運。Welcome to 呃大，我唔想你哋再俾人啊 into 呢個鏡號。從此人人都可以成為防騙專才，
識穿呃，唔會俾人呃。311卡，3定3卡。
2025年正式招生，免費入學，唔呃你。
At Fraud University, you can experience various interactive exhibits and activities that are both engaging and relatable to the public. This fun design setup wishes to spread anti-fraud education in a lighthearted way, hoping to raise public's awareness against frauds and scams.
喺呃大入面咧，有好多有趣又貼地嘅互動展品啦，同活動啦，深入淺出咁為大家提高呢個防騙意識同埋網絡安全意識，避免大家墮入騙局嘅。
Today, we are delighted to have guests from the government, business, and technology sectors attending our opening ceremony. Without further ado, may I now please invite Ms. Luan Lim, Chief Executive Officer, Hong Kong HSBC, to come on stage to deliver a speech. Ms. Luan.
有請滙豐香港區行政總裁林慧虹女士上台致辭。
Thank you very much to the MCs. A brilliant job there. Commissioner Sue, Arthur, distinguished guests, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for joining us today at the opening ceremony of our new education campaign, Fraud University. Fraud prevention is really now more important, I would say more difficult than ever, and for all of us, for the public, but also for the private sector. Over the past few years, I hope you've noticed that the banking sector, the HKMA, the police force, and lots of other enforcement agencies have stepped up their efforts to prevent and to detect and to educate the public about fraud. Together, we are making some progress. So, for example, the amount of money that we have stopped or intercepted from fraud scams last year compared to the year before has increased by more than 50%. We are also a big believer in technology and how do we use technology for fraud prevention and detection. So at HSBC in Hong Kong, we have made a double-digit increase in our investments in fraud technology last year. We have also launched tools to help customers spot scams, like using the police scam meters for suspicious account alerts, and also registered hashtags for our SMS communication with our customers. And coming soon this quarter, we will also enhance our alerts for suspicious payments transactions. But just as important is making sure our customers are educated, they're well informed, and they have the knowledge to become smarter and to stay protected. So last year, as many of you remember, we had a very successful education campaign called the Fraud Fair, and that was in 2023 actually. So we're excited to launch almost a sequel of this, which is today's Fraud University. The university is open to everyone. It offers interactive experiences to help individuals and also SMEs to stay safe and to enhance their awareness on frauds and cybersecurity and various dishonest practices that are going around in our society. So we are deeply thankful for the HKMA, the Hong Kong Police Force, and other enforcement agencies for their ongoing cooperation and their support to our efforts. So I hope you all enjoy the courses at the university today and the tour that will be following this session that we have now. I'm going to try and say a few words in Cantonese, so bear with me. 大家好，多謝大家出席今日滙豐防騙教育嘅展覽，就係厄大嘅開幕典禮。咁過去幾年呢，香港嘅銀行界 HKMA 同埋警方都不停嘅教育大家要小心騙徒。我係 always 都會記得 Arthur 不停嘅講，拎冇亂撳，收到亂嘅時候要諗一諗。咁希望大家都好似我咁樣好上心，係咁記得呢句説話。咁滙豐咧喺呢方面都落咗好多功夫嘅。過去一年我哋喺防騙嘅技術嘅投資咧增長有雙位數字咁多。咁正經過大家一齊嘅努力咧，都有啲成果嘅。舊年我哋 stop 咗嘅騙案嘅金額按年係上升咗50%嘅。咁我哋都喺我哋同客戶傾嘅時候都覺得咧，市民係叻咗好多。不過騙徒係唔會停手，佢哋都叻緊嘅。所以我哋都有好多新嘅措施啦。譬如今個 quarter 我哋就會出一個 suspicious payment instruction 嘅 alert，會做好啲方面嘅工作。希望我哋嘅客戶咧同埋市民咧去轉錢或是俾錢嘅時候，先諗一諗，小心啲，係咪真係要俾？係咪俾呢個人你真係識唔識？呢個交易係咪真係可以相信嘅？咁今次咧，我哋喺教育方面都係落咗功夫嘅。2023年可能大家都會記得，我哋做咗個 Art Fair 都好受歡迎。今日嘅 Art 大都係希望係經過比較有趣嘅形式，同大家去分享而家嗰啲騙徒嘅一啲手法，同埋大家應該喺呢方面點可以醒目啲啦。咁今日有 HKMA 有警方蕭澤Arthur 都參加我哋呢個典禮，咁我哋都好感激嘅。誒好多謝呢方面 HKMA 同警方都對我哋一路以來嘅指導同埋支持，所以多謝大家今日出席，唔該。
Thank you, Luann. Please take a seat. Thank you.
唔該晒 Luann。
Next, we would like to have Mr. Arthur Yun, JP Deputy Chief Executive, Hong Kong Monetary Authority, to come on stage to deliver a speech.
有請香港金融管理局副總裁阮國恒先生 JP 上台致辭。
唔該晒 Yancy， 唔該晒思君，Luann， 蕭 Sir， 大家好。我其實上台之前我都喺度諗緊，我點樣可以確保Luann 唔係一個 deepfake 嘅 Luann 嚟嘅咧咁聽完佢講廣東話，我確信呢個係真 Luann 嚟嘅。不過真係進步咗好多，大家俾啲掌聲佢好嗎？ 首先好多謝匯豐銀行啊，好多謝 Luanne 同埋你嘅同事安排咗今日一個咁特別嘅一個嘅項目，亦都我見到嘅展覽都會維持一段時間啦，希望多啲市民嚟睇啦。呢個防騙學府大開幕儀式咧，即係我哋其實我哋都真係好需要一啲比較有創意嘅方法去等呢啲嘅防騙信息去深入民心。by the way， 我想講清楚咧，就係頭先阿 Luanne 咧係講英文先，跟住講英文。咁我就要兜底嘅，咁所以我講中文先，然後我會臨尾咧 ，I'll say a few words in English later. I see that there are English-speaking audience here. But since Luanne started with English and then finished with Cantonese, I decided to do it in a symmetric way. We like symmetry at the HMA. So I'll start with Cantonese and then I'll finish with English. 我哋其實見到咧就過去呢段時間，頭先阿 Luanne 講咗啦，舊年銀行協助警方去所謂阻截一啲可疑嘅交易。嘅金額其實上升咗。其實我哋睇翻警方俾我哋嘅數字咧，我哋都見到舊年11月全年11月1月至11月11個月裏面嘅涉及一啲咁樣嘅騙案嘅數字，已經比起2023年全年加埋都仲要多。咁所以就個情況都係比較嚴重。咁所以我哋一直以嚟都係同警方啦、同業界咧都好密切去合作。去希望盡量提升個社會裏面嗰個防騙嘅能力。咁呢方面咧，我或者借呢個機會都透過傳媒啦，今日有傳媒喺度，都同市民即係交代一下，我哋其實呢方面嘅工作主要分3方面嘅。第一方面咧就係提升銀行自己本身嗰個嘅防詐騙嘅或者係偵測詐騙嗰個嘅管控嘅能力。第二就係提高個客戶自我個保護嘅能力啦。第三就係加強個公眾嘅宣傳。喺提升銀行嗰個反詐騙管控嘅安排嗰方面咧，就我哋都一路要留意一啲新嘅詐騙嘅手法，咁確保銀行佢哋自己做嘅方法去相反，即係要偵測呢啲詐騙或者係對抗呢啲詐騙方法咧，亦都係管用嘅，係繼續係有效嘅。咁譬如我哋其實經常我哋講詐騙係好似係一種事情咁咧，但係其實裏面牽涉到好多種唔同嘅場景。但係廣而言之，廣譜嚟計咧就分2類，一類咧就係未被授權嘅交易，嗰啲我哋英文叫 fraud。有啲咧就係被授權嘅交易，嗰個客戶以為自己真係做緊一個正常嘅交易嘅，嗰啲係 scam， 佢俾人呃咗㗎啦已經。咁我哋發覺其實 scam 咧係難處理一啲嘅個案嚟嘅。咁所以舊年10月咧，我哋都向業界發咗指引咧，就要求業界去加強對於呢一類獲授權嘅交易，但係有可疑嘅交易嘅偵測嘅能力，特別係咪可以多啲用科技 AI 一啲人工智能嘅方法去偵測呢一類嘅可疑交易咧？我亦都要求咗業界咧，就係偵測到呢啲交易之後咧，應該要盡快咧向客戶提出呢個警示嘅。咁咧就透過呢啲工作，我哋希望加快成個所謂反詐騙生態圈裏面個資訊流動個速度。另外就係我哋頭先講過，同警方一路都好緊密接觸啦。其實警方有好多嘅資源，我哋可以運用嘅，包括防騙伺服器嗰個背後嗰個嘅信息平台，其實係好強大嘅。我哋而家都正在同業界研究緊點樣可以更加好去利用呢一個嘅資料庫，等銀行去偵測一啲可能係浪錢，我哋叫做傀儡戶口嘅帳戶咧，係可以做得更加快咧咁。另外就個別銀行都有唔同嘅措施咧，頭先阿 Luanne 都有講咗啦，佢仲係用廣東話講嗰度先犀利，就係點樣喺短期之內推出一啲異常交易嘅提示嘅措施咧咁。其實嗰個措施就唔淨止係向客戶提一個提示嘅，其實現時都有㗎啦，向客戶提一個提示。新嘅措施之下咧，我嘅理解下就係其實除咗提示之外咧，係會暫停呢個交易一段好短嘅時間。你想撳 yes 都唔得嘅，你想撳去都唔得嘅。等過咗一段時間，少少可能我唔知而家最後嘅決定幾多啦，可能10秒、20秒、30秒，等客戶有個時間停一停，諗一諗，我係咪真係做呢個交易咧？咁希望客戶好好地用呢段好短嘅時間去諗清楚，你係咪真係做呢個嘅交易？第二方面就係提升客戶自己嘅保護嘅能力啦。咁呢方面咧，其實主要我哋就係希望向客戶提供多啲嘅選項。 銀行服務林林總總，網上服務都有好多種嘅，唔係種種服務客戶都需要用嘅。佢有啲服務其實如果當佢唔用嘅時候咧，不如你將嗰個功能熄咗佢。咁但係銀行需要喺系統上面配合，提供多啲選項俾客戶，等客戶咧可以，譬如一個長者佢唔需要用一個第三方轉帳功能嘅，我哋而家研究緊係咪第三方轉帳功能係咪可以調整嘅咧？係咪可以熄咗佢嘅咧？係咪可以將個額度係定低或者甚至係零嘅咧？咁就希望透過呢啲嘅多啲選項啦，就令到客戶提供多啲嘅保障。另外一項近期一啲嘅就係我哋都公布咗今年之內銀行會推出一個叫資安全嘅安排啦。客戶可以選擇將佢部分嘅存款咧鎖住咗，好似擺咗落夾萬咁，唔可以透過網上嘅渠道去轉出去嘅。咁呢個咧對客戶嚟講都係一個多重保障。另外就公眾第三方面嘅公眾宣傳啦，就係其實今日呢個項目就係一個公眾宣傳嘅項目。我哋都有同業界合作去做好多一般而言嘅推廣，或者係對於個別一啲特定群組嘅推廣嘅。一般而言嘅推廣咧，就係例如呢一個節目啦，上年嘅 Art Fair 啦，嗰個其實好似唔係叫 Fort Fair，好似叫 Art Fair 嘅，我記得係嚇。咁ARC 咁嘅好似係咩？好得意嘅嗰個英文字係自創嘅一個英文字嚟嘅。咁就呢類其實我覺得係好重要嘅，但係要不停做，因為我哋發覺個市民嗰個入腦嗰個嘅因為香港人可能忙啊，佢嗰個資訊咧入咗腦之後咧，好快已經俾其他嘅入嚟嘅資訊咧排擠咗出去腦外面，咁所以我哋不停要將啲資訊咧放翻入去市民個腦裡面先得。我哋亦都發覺咧，就用唔同嘅信息咧，有唔同嘅效果嘅。我哋之前頭先阿 Luan 講，我哋叫人哋小心唔好亂咁拎咧，我哋發覺個效果好短。咁所以琴日其實我哋 launch 咗一個新嘅口號，我哋亦都徵詢過一啲行為科學嘅專家，佢哋就話俾我哋知，原來我哋以前嗰個嘅口號咧，未必係最好嘅口號嚟嘅。佢話你最好咧都係令佢明白佢做咗某啲嘢嘅結局會係點樣樣咧，咁就會好啲。所以琴日我哋借你個場口啦，都講一講啦，但係向市民都推介一下。我哋新嘅口號叫做撳拎中招。你撳啊，你中招，你係咪想中招咧？咁希望呢個比較接地氣一啲嘅方法就能夠入屋一啲啦。咁嚇，亦都唔希望即係臨近新春咧，唔希望咁多香港市民俾人呃咧。希望大家都記住呢個口號啦，唔好立亂去撳拎啊咁。咁除咗一般而言嘅宣傳之外咧，我哋都有入大學嘅。其實近排大家接觸咗好多信息，就話有啲大學生被騙啦。咁我哋都好緊張嘅。其實警方舊年入學嘅時候咧，係有安排咗一啲宣傳嘅活動喺迎新嘅活動裡面咧係做，我哋都有參與嘅。咁而家我了解，我哋都同警方研究緊，會唔會有近期有啲活動，我哋金管局都可以亦都參與其中，去入學校去再做一次嘅宣傳咧咁。總括嚟講咧就其實我哋經常都講嘅知識係改變命運嘅好重要嘅一步。咁所以咧，我哋都希望透過教導同埋提升公眾嗰個防騙意識，去加強佢哋嗰個自我保護嘅能力。所以我哋都好榮幸，今日我同我嘅同事咧都喺呢度咧。我知道我哋被賦予一個特殊嘅身份嘅，我唔講啦。咁就但係我哋係大嘅持份者嚟嘅嚇。咁就希望亦都透過呢個節目咧，係呼籲市民啦，都當自己係一個學生。記住學海無涯啊！咁就繼續去努力去增長呢方面嘅知識，亦都不停增長呢方面嘅知識，時刻保持警惕，保護好你自己同埋你身邊嘅人。最後咧就亦都預祝匯豐呢個大嘅活動咧係圓滿取得成功。多謝大家。咁就as promised, I'll say a few words in English. Sorry, Alan, you have been sitting there listening to me babbling on in Cantonese. But let me just repeat some of the key messages. I won't repeat the whole thing. But basically what I've been saying is that the Hong Kong Monetary Authority attaches great importance to the severity of the fraud and scam scene in Hong Kong. It is actually a global problem, but in Hong Kong we do want to build a very strong ecosystem together with law enforcement agencies, the Hong Kong Police, and also the industry, the banking industry in Hong Kong, to try to stay ahead of the game a little bit. And our efforts, broadly speaking, covers 3 areas. One is to enhance the capacity of banks to detect and deter fraudulent and scam transactions. Secondly, to enhance the ability of customers to protect themselves. And finally, to educate the general public or specific segments of the public. We have actually implemented multiple measures. I will just repeat, we are going to launch, in terms of the first one, we have, in terms of the ability of banks to deter and detect, we have actually requested banks last December to enhance the capacity to detect potential scam-related transactions. It's difficult, but with technology, I think we are getting better in doing that. And I think banks, if they put in enough technology resources, we stand a much better chance of detecting those. So we have actually asked banks to enhance the capacity of detecting scam-related transactions, as well as to notify customers once they found that out. In terms of customers' ability to protect themselves, we are enhancing the choices available to customers. So the latest initiative that we have was to introduce what we call the Money Safe initiative, under which customers can designate certain portion of the deposits as not transferable through online means. Then even if your account gets stolen or compromised, the fraudster can't transfer every single dollar out. And then, of course, in terms of education, events like this is very important. The Art University, is it called Art University or Fraud University, whatever, Art University is a very important initiative to get a very easy to remember initiative to get into the minds of the public. You have to keep doing that, to literally brainwash the public to try to stay alert and become more careful. And we have yesterday launched a similar campaign, a very easy to remember slogan, and we're going to launch a series of social media initiatives to promote that new slogan, to get the public ready, more ready to avoid falling prey to scams and fraud. But despite all that, we are seeing statistics that are still worrying in terms of number of cases that was detected. So it is very important for us to continue to work with the police and Silso and his colleagues, as well as the banking industry, to try to get the public more immune to the system, like taking a vaccine. It's difficult, but we are working very hard towards that. So thank you very much to HSBC for organizing this event, and I wish the public would enjoy it. I'm sure they will enjoy it, and I wish every success to this event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arthur. Please take a seat.
唔該晒 Arthur。
So moving on, we will have a panel discussion exploring how businesses can establish strong defenses against fraud to secure long-term success. In a minute, please join me in welcoming our moderator, Mr. Chuck Shum, Managing Director, Head of Marketing, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong, HSBC, and the following esteemed panelists from different sectors to the stage. Mr. Sari Wijayarakun, Head of Fraud, Credit and Control, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong, HSBC. Mr. Michael Yong, Strategic Advisor, Google Cloud, Google Hong Kong Limited. Last but not least, Dr. Alan Zeman, Chairman of Lan Kwai Fong Group.
跟住落嚟，我哋好開心可以邀請到嚟自唔同界別嘅嘉賓一齊探討企業可以點樣建立強而有力嘅防騙措施，以提防騙局嘅，達至長遠嘅反詐騙效果。我哋有請主持匯豐香港區財富管理及個人銀行業務市場策劃主管岑卓耀先生，以及以下嘉賓：匯豐香港區財富及個人銀行業務反欺詐、信貸及監控主管 Mr. Sarit、Google Cloud 策略顧問翁偉基先生，以及蘭桂坊集團主席盛智文博士，將時間交俾以下幾位嘉賓。
Good afternoon, class. Welcome to Fraud University. I am very privileged to be hosting the inaugural lecture at the Fraud University with a very distinguished panel of professors. So today we have the opportunity to engage with all our panelists who will share the insights on the evolving landscape of fraud and its implications for businesses. We'll also explore how organizations can build robust framework and how do we work together to mitigate the risks that both Luann and Arthur has spoken about. So turning my first question to Professor Michael, what do you think is driving the overall scam trend? And in your observation, what has been the most common scam tactics over the past year? And are these tactics evolving?
Thank you, Professor Sam. Great to be here. Indeed, technology is advancing continuously. And of course, not only we all use technology, but also the scammer use the technology really good as well. So we can see in the last few years that the scammers use the new technology such that they can adapt to the contextual environment, to the news, to create the latest scam, to fool every one of us. But at the same time, every coin of two sides, we also find that many times the online users, sometimes they are overconfident. Sometimes they believe that, oh, this is a real, something that's too good to be true, but they still believe this is a real deal. And so they will fall into the trap and then in the scam as well. So in fact, in our survey in 2024, last year, we found that 4 out of 5 online users, they will get those scams. Okay, but of course, not all of them fell into that. But those scams include SMS, messaging apps, emails, and phone calls. And many times, identity theft is also very important kind of scams.
And Professor Sarit, so which segments of the population do you see are being targeted right now?
Thank you, Professor Chuck. Nobody is safe. Basically, from what we can see, the fraudsters or the scammers have a strategy for almost every segment of the population, so nobody is safe. But the most vulnerable segments are the elderly and other sort of high-risk segments within our population, and those are the people who are most susceptible to being scammed. And that's why we've launched this initiative again this year, because we believe that educating the public is very, very important. And we have something here, I think, for everyone, for all the different segments and the age groups. So hopefully we can do our thing around education through this initiative.
And Dr. Allen, so as we've discussed the emergent fraud tactics, could you tell us about the impacts of fraud on business, just beyond just financial losses? What other implications are you seeing?
Well, basically, beyond financial losses, there's been long-term impacts on all kinds of businesses. I mean, there's a damage to reputation, and everybody knows how many years you work hard to build a reputation and how overnight it can disappear. And so it's something that's so important. Public trust in a company is the key. People want to make sure that their money is safe, that the company they're working with are reputable and that kind of thing. And fraud can also create operational disruptions, investigating fraud incidents. It requires valuable time that companies could be working on in order to really have created good, successful business. And it diverts everybody's attention from trying to figure out how to get rid of these scammers. And so the impacts of fraud extend well beyond immediately monetary losses. It's vital for businesses really to recognize these potential consequences and adopt proactive strategies to mitigate them. And the reputation, remember, is the most important thing for a company.
Thank you. So in light of the rapidly evolving fraud tactics we're seeing, how do we avoid being in a very passive position, and what are the measures that HSBC is taking? Can you maybe share some light on that?
Sure. So thank you. I think Luann touched on some of these things that we're doing. For example, double-digit growth in our investment, and not just last year, I think that's been the case for the last few years. And a very significant investment going in even this year. Later this year, actually within the first quarter, we are launching a new, what we call early customer warning system, where we identify suspicious payments and trigger these to customers. It does create a bit of friction to customers, because they'll have more questions being asked, more stop payments and so on, but I think with these high-risk payments, there is a need to slow down the process sometimes. But we've also been very involved with the Hong Kong Police and the HKMA and the Bankers Association. We launched the anti-deception initiative or alliance last year. And there's a lot of work going on around stopping payments, sharing of intelligence, using the scam meter data. This is a scam meter base that the Hong Kong Police has built. So a lot of work around that. I think the other thing that I would like to call out is the work we've done with the Communications Authority. We have the Safe SMS registration scheme now. And if we send an SMS, there will be a hash in front of it, which I think is very, very important because we all know the SMS smishing risk that the industry has faced. So a lot of investment and this type of initiative, not to mention the additional technology that HSBC as well as other members of the industry are deploying on an ongoing basis.
So, Michael, could you share your insights on how technology can be leveraged effectively to stay ahead of changing fraud tactics and what strategies Google Cloud employs to help general public to avoid scams?
Yes, indeed. As mentioned, the scammers are using technologies and AIs. So, of course, the companies or service providers like us, we also use a lot of technologies to help to come back to all those fraud. For example, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and data analytics, all of this. But so in Google, we kind of use an approach like scan, detect, and block. So let's say in the business world, we receive a lot of emails every single day. And of course, many of them are phishing emails that will capture some of your personal information. And every single day, we scan and block about 100 million phishing attempts every single day worldwide. And then other than the phishing email, some of them are spam emails. Keep on sending you some information that may not be relevant to you. But one day you'll find out, oh, maybe I'm curious, maybe that deal is too good to be true. Let's click the link. As I mentioned, don't click the link, right? Those spam emails. And then every minute, 10 million spam emails got blocked by Google. So these are the email. But of course, what about website? Again, a lot of phishing or scam website in the world. So again, Google will scan those websites and also files, and about, believe it or not, 12 billion website or website addresses every single day. So once we scan and we know that it's a scam website, and then we block, we have a service that we can block the website in a matter of seconds instead of days. So that all this help. And lastly, other than email, website, the last one is the apps. Everyone have a mobile phone. Everyone use a lot of apps. Again, we scan a lot of apps to protect that 5 billion devices. So after all these are the services or our products. But then again, education, just like this event, education users are important. So we have toolkits, what we call the responsible AI toolkits, to help companies to develop good AI platforms. At the same time, we also work with organizations. Last year, we worked with the Hong Kong Council of Social Services to provide training in cybersecurity, AIs, and digital marketing or data analytics to help the members organizations to learn about technology, such that, again, they will not fall into the traps.
So, Alan, could you also share your thoughts on how businesses can collaborate with tech companies and financial institutions like us to combat fraud? And additionally, what measures can companies take to protect themselves and customers in this very dynamic landscape?
Well, collaboration is essential, for businesses, especially in today's world in the fight against fraud. I mean, as he was saying, with Google, with the steps that Google is taking, every minute, companies around the world are getting phished, people are going fishing, and really for businesses should prioritize first open communication with tech companies who are very knowledgeable in these kind of things, especially to protect in financial institutions. They can protect sharing information about emerging threats, and vulnerabilities, we can collect and strengthen our defenses. And so that's really aligning yourself with these kind of companies. Second, fostering an international culture of collaboration with organizations is equally important. Encouraging cross-border communication creates a holistic approach to fraud prevention, and joint initiatives like training programs can also empower employees. That's very important. Really getting employees to really understand for companies, especially HSBC or HKMA, getting employees, because they're the first people that are dealing with it. And so it's not just the IT department, it's really important that it goes down to from the lowest rung within an organization to the highest, that everybody understands.
Thank you. So, Michael, what specific trends do you foresee coming up in the fraud landscape over the next few years? And for example, we hear a lot about AI, deep fake, so shifts in consumer behavior. How should we cope with that from a tech standpoint?
Well, I tend to think the technology will not stop by itself. So again, everybody's rushing to learn new things. And of course, the scammers or bad actors will learn the new things to try to fool us as well, using AI or using the huge data to help them do all sorts of things. Of course, as you mentioned, the deepfake. So in the following years, I would say deepfake in images, audio, videos were all around us. And don't forget to visit one of the classrooms there to see what the deepfake is all about. So to cope with all this, I tend to think, first of all, as companies or personal, we need to learn new stuff day after day, to invest in advanced technologies for companies to develop better systems. And of course, educate users, just like this event. And education to personal users, to business users, small business, all are important. And lastly, as Dr. Simon mentioned about the collaboration, that's important, that collaborate among all the service providers, all the business entities as well. Yeah.
So, Tariq, if I jump to you, can I invite you to share your insights on the trends you anticipate in financial fraud landscape over the coming years? So we spoke about tech. Maybe you can comment on the financial space. What are the evolving sort of trends you foresee?
Yeah, I mean, I would align with Michael. Deepfake is probably an area that scares us the most. We've seen some particularly bad examples in Hong Kong over the last year. And also Gen AI, because the opportunities are limitless when you think about it, the opportunities for scamming. So we definitely need to stay ahead of the game in terms of our technology and keep evolving with these trends. I think we also see much more in terms of online and mobile fraud. That keeps increasing very, very rapidly. And scammers using, targeting customers through everyday sort of shopping sites or help lines and that type of thing. I mean, really embedding themselves into day-to-day activity, which makes it so difficult for people to differentiate between what is genuine and what is fraud. In terms of practical advice, I would say I hope that people will visit and enroll in the HSBC University and learn something from our exhibits here. And also, verifying ID is obviously very key for us. Those of us in the financial sector, that is obviously our bread and butter, but people just need to be very, very cautious when anyone requests personal or financial information, whether it's online, phone call, email, or even face-to-face. And then protecting your passwords, having unique passwords, two-factor authentication ideally, multi-factor authentication. And keeping, this is a basic hygiene thing, but I think a lot of people don't really pay attention to it. Keeping a close eye on your bank statements, on your credit card statements. A lot of people ignore this information, right? It is there, it's available. And the other thing that people tend to ignore is the alerts we send them. Obviously, nobody likes getting a lot of alerts, but looking at them is crucial and responding to them, because we also have two-way SMS. And we do expect a customer to respond. So I think if people are much more attentive to these hygiene factors, we'll be in a much better place. But obviously, we also have to stay ahead of technology and keep a watchful eye. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's all from us. So class, you're dismissed. I just want to thank the professors again. For the very insightful sharing. So thank you.
Thank you so much, professors. Please remain on stage as our official photographer will take one photo first. He's coming right into the middle.
好，請大家望住中間嘅大會攝影，唔該。
Thank you so much, professors. Please take a seat.
唔該晒咁多位。
The Fraud University campus is fully equipped, and have you noticed that the HSBC has thoughtfully set up areas in the corridors and every room? The corridors have been transformed into a hall of fame, showcasing various achievements of Fraud University students in the field of fraud prevention. The principal's office also contains some news clippings documenting the most common scams related to investment, romance, and job hunting. These are real examples, and HSBC hopes to deliver fraud prevention knowledge from everyday life.
喺1月25號到2月16號啦，大家可以嚟到匯豐防騙學府大呢度親臨 K11。Musea 嘅6樓嚇，嚟到呢度咧，大家係會可以提升自己嘅防騙意識啦，亦都可以有沉浸式嘅校園體驗。我哋嘅校園設施咧係一應俱全，大家頭先見到啦，由走廊一路去到每間房咧都好有特色嘅喎。咁喺走廊咧係大家花咗好多心思咧，將佢打造成一個名人堂。見到匯豐咧係喺各個唔同嘅防騙領域度嘅戰績啦，亦都去到校長室咧，仲有好多展報啦，係見到喺投資啊、工作啊以及情愛嘅騙案嘅範例嗰度，全部都係真實案件嚟嘅。咁所以咧，匯豐係透過生活同埋商業社會唔同嘅角度咧，提高大家嘅防騙意識嘅。
May we now please invite Miss Maggie Ng, Head of Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong HSBC, to come on stage for closing remarks. Welcome, Maggie.
唔該 Maggie。
OK， 唔該晒。我喺度做一個好簡單嘅 wrap up 啦。首先再一次多謝金管局啦、警務處啦，同埋咧其實有好多政府嘅部門嘅，包括係海關啦、廉政公署啦，同埋我哋好緊密嘅一啲 social media 嘅朋友，Meta 啦。Global 啦、Google 啦、LinkedIn 啦咁樣，因為咧通過我哋匯豐同其他部門嘅合作咧，我覺得我哋可以cast 一個好大嘅防護罩、保護網俾香港嘅市民。咁今日頭先係聽咗少少大家嘅一啲教授嘅一啲 tips 啦，跟住落嚟咧會有一個 VIP tour 嘅。咁呢個 tour 咧頭先講咗，我哋今個 weekend 先開始正式對外開放。咁我喺度有個少少嘅請求，就係咧大家睇完之後咧，我希望大家可以拎呢一個 exhibition 翻去同身邊嘅朋友、同事同埋屋企人講。介紹佢哋嚟睇我哋嘅 exhibition 啦，我哋會通過自己嘅 social media 有一啲 marketing 嘅 campaign， 同埋咧一啲媒體同埋電視台嘅推廣嘅。咁希望咧香港人啊嚇喺嚟緊就嚟係新春時間啦，咁啊放假嘅時候咧都有機會可以過嚟呢度參觀一下，提升佢哋自己嘅防盜意識啦、防騙意識啦，咁令到香港可以成為一個更加安全穩固嘅一個金融中心。咁喺度再一次多謝大家嘅嚟臨，跟住我將個時間俾翻MC 啦。
Thank you, Maggie. Please remain on stage as we will move on to group photos. Now we would like to invite the following guests to come up on stage for this first group photo.
好，跟住落嚟，我哋影大合照啦。有請以下嘅嘉賓咧上台一齊合影。
Miss Luen Lim, Chief Executive Officer, Hong Kong HSBC.
有請匯豐香港區行政總裁林慧虹女士。
Mr. Arthur Yun, JP Deputy Chief Executive, Hong Kong Monetary Authority.
香港金融管理局副總裁阮國恒先生 JP。
Mr. Raymond Siu, Commissioner of Police.
警務處處長蕭澤頤先生。
Ms. Carol Lee, Chief Compliance Officer, Hong Kong and Macau, Head of Regulatory Compliance, WPB Asia Pacific HSBC.
匯豐香港及澳門區首席合規官及財富管理及個人銀行業務部亞太區合規部主管李慧文女士。
Ms. Christina Ong, Head of Business Banking, Commercial Banking, Hong Kong, HSBC.
匯豐香港工商金融中小企業主管黃海珍女士。
Mr. Brian Hui, Head of Customer Propositions and Marketing, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong, HSBC.
匯豐香港區財富管理及個人銀行業務客戶及市場策劃主管許長雄先生。
Dr. Alan Zeman, Chairman of 蘭桂坊 Group.
蘭桂坊集團主席盛志文博士。
Mr. Sari Wajayakun, Head of Fraud, Credit and Control, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong, HSBC.
匯豐香港區財富及個人銀行業務反欺詐、信貸及監控主管 Mr. Sarid。
So this will be our first group photo. Please look at the center, at our official photographer first.
麻煩大家望住中間嘅大會攝影下，望一望，係啦。
可能揮揮手啦，我哋嘅大會攝影師係啦。好，咁喺呢個時候可能咧要邀請咧我哋嘅攝影師咧要踎低少少，因為我哋後面咧都有啲記者朋友㗎。Please look to the center of our media friends, and then to the left.
係左至右咁掃過去。
Slowly to the right。
冇錯啦。好，唔該晒咁多位嘉賓請留步嚇，我哋繼續影第二張大合照。將我哋嘅 props 咧係交到咁多位朋友嘅手上啊！我哋上邊咧有好多 phone board 咧，有好多金句喺度啊！真係你學晒佢咧，想俾人呃都難啊！
冇錯啊，全部咧都好可愛、好得意啦！認住我哋呢一隻金色貓咧，就知道咧係我哋呃大啦。Okay, once again, please look at our professional photographer first.
好，再望多次中間嘅大會攝影。唔該晒。
And then once again to our media friends at the back, center first.
再望下咁多位傳媒朋友，我哋由左至右慢慢望過去嚇。
Slowly from the left to the right.
唔該晒咁多位。
So coming up next, may I invite the following guests to come in the order to the third row for another group photo. Miss Anita Lam, Head of HKTW Global Marketing Solutions, LinkedIn, Hong Kong.
有請 LinkedIn Hong Kong 台灣全球營銷方案總經理林慧敏女士。
Mr. Frank Lau, Deputy Head of Customs Financial Investigation Bureau.
有請海關財富調查科監督劉志忠先生。
Miss Winnie Wong, Head of Fraud, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong, HSBC.
匯豐香港區財富管理及個人銀行業務反欺詐主管黃詠詩女士。
Miss Karen Low, Head of Marketing, Commercial Banking, Hong Kong, HSBC.
匯豐工商金融香港市場策劃主管魯嘉玲女士。
Miss Nancy Tang, Head of Consumer Marketing, Google, Hong Kong and Greater China Creators.
Google 香港及大中華區創作者資深營銷總監丁樂欣小姐。
Mr. Tang Chi Kong, Assistant Director, IB2.
廉政公署執行處助理處長2鄧志光先生。
Miss Michelle Wei, Director of Public Policy, Greater China, Meta.
Meta 大中華區公共政策總經理魏明霞女士。
May we now invite the following guests to come in the order for the second row. Mr. Philip Lui, Acting Chief Superintendent of Police.
警務處財富情報及調查科處理總警司呂志豪先生。
Mr. Tyro Yao, Chief Superintendent of Police.
警務處商業罪案調查科總警司尤建雄先生。
Ms. Carmen Chu, JP, Executive Director, Banking Supervision Division, Hong Kong Monetary Authority.
香港金融管理局助理總裁銀行監理朱立橋女士 JP。
Mr. Chuck Shum, Managing Director, Head of Marketing, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong, HSBC.
匯豐香港區財富管理及個人銀行業務市場策劃主管岑卓耀先生。
Mr. Raymond Chan, JP, Executive Director, AML and Enforcement Division, Hong Kong Monetary Authority.
香港金融管理局助理總裁法規及打擊清洗黑錢陳景宏先生 JP。
Mr. Keith Yip, Director of Crime and Security, Police.
警務處刑事及保安處處長葉雲龍先生。
Ms. Jeanette Pang, Head of Distribution, Wealth and Personal Banking, Hong Kong HSBC.
匯豐香港區財富管理及個人銀行業務分銷主管彭淑貞女士。
Mr. Alan Au, JP Executive Director, Banking Conduct Division, Hong Kong Monetary Authority.
香港金融管理局助理總裁銀行操守歐旭倫先生 JP。
Mr. Raymond Lam, Chief Superintendent of Police.
警務處網絡安全及科技罪案調查科總警司林卓豪先生。
Now we have everyone on stage. This is a very important class photo, okay? So I would like to invite everyone to look at our official photographer first, right into the center.
好啦，呢張就係我哋嘅頒獎啦，各位額大嘅同學仔一齊望住中間嘅大會攝影。
Okay, and then again to our media friends, let's start from the left-hand side.
我估而家唔單止要對住傳媒朋友，大家都攞起晒手機啊！可能我哋全場一齊由左邊到右邊慢慢望過去，俾大家影一張合照下。
Slowly from left to the center and to the right. So let me check, is there anybody that's missing photos? 使唔使補相？ Okay?
OK， 唔該晒。
Thank you so much to all our guests. Please take a seat. Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us today for the opening ceremony of HSBC Fraud University. We extend a special thank you to our guests and media friends for being here. We also invite everyone to explore Fraud University firsthand. Our helpers will start organizing guided tours shortly. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you at our next HSBC event.
多謝咁多位來賓同傳媒朋友，一臨匯豐防騙